Hey, what's up? Checking in today, and first proper day back at work, and a few things have happened. First of all, within the space of about a half hour, I got an email back from one of the companies I've been speaking to a couple of weeks ago about doing something in Mental Health Awareness Week, which is in May, May 13th, I think. So actually, it's only a couple of weeks away, and it was looking pretty promising. It was a recommendation from somebody. I was a recommendation from somebody, and I had a good conversation with them on the phone, and I knew that they were speaking to a couple of other people as well. I still think it comes down to the price, because they obviously had to put a proposal together, and I sent them over a number of options, and they just came back and said, "Sorry, we're not going to proceed at this stage, but maybe do something together later on in the year." So the door's still open. I think I need to go back to them and ask them about what it was. I think that's a reasonable thing to ask, for some feedback. Was it the proposal? Was it the content? Was it the fee? What was it that made them decide to not proceed with it? Because that's really going to be quite helpful to me. So in fact, that is what I need to go. I haven't been back to them yet to say, okay, no problem. But anyway, about a half hour after that came through, I got another email from another client who I've worked with before. A couple of years ago, I did a presentation in Mental Health Awareness Week. This is back in May 2017. And they are really keen for me to come back and do something again with them. So that's in London. It's a big firm. And again, it'll just come down to getting the details right, getting the price right. But I'm a known commodity there. I did a good job. They were really pleased. They got some really good feedback. And hopefully, if we can agree the fee, then that will be a kind of a done deal. Ironically, actually, it's the same. Well, it is the same week. Not necessarily would have been the same date, but I suspect it would have been the Thursday is the sort of the date that I tend to do those things on during that week. So it would have been ironic if if actually they'd both wanted me on that same date. As it happens, the interest is gone from 1 to 0 and then straight back up to 1 again. So anyway, I'll keep posted on that. And just pushing, keeping on top of all the contacts, pushing, asking for progress, any updates, just keeping top of mind, because I know that obviously I'm not a priority, and for people to think, oh, hang on, we haven't booked George for something yet. I need to keep on top of that. So I was doing that today, I was firing out a bunch of emails and getting back onto some of these conversations. And just got to keep going. That's the grind, as well as finding new contacts. It's finding keeping going with the existing ones. But then there was another conversation I had with someone today, a friend of mine, a chap called John Holder, who I met at the Pro Mobile conference a few weeks ago, and he was presenting. I didn't see him present because he was on the day before me. So no, I didn't see him present. I saw him, but we had a good chat anyway. And he was talking about his own events. So he does a bit of speaking at conferences, because he was saying, he was asking me what I wanted to be doing, and I said, well, I want to be doing my own events, but I also want to be doing more conferences, like the Experian gig, like the Pro Mobile conference, and so on. And he said that he does do a little bit of that, but actually his main thing is doing his own events. And we were having a really interesting conversation about that, because I've really struggled with my own events. I talked about this a while ago. I put this high performance wellbeing event on in London, or at least I started to promote it, and I got diddly squat in the way of interest. Well, I got some very lukewarm interest initially, but then nothing converted, so I had to just cancel the whole thing, and sort of felt a little bit a bit shaken up a little bit by that, because I used to, even back in September when I put on my workshop, my Knowing to Doing seminar in Tame, I still got a bunch of people signing up to that. It wasn't as busy and as full as I wanted it to be, but I still had decent enough numbers for it to be worthwhile doing. And John was saying that he puts events on, and I don't know how many he gets, but he's charging best part of 300 quid for a seat, and I think it's an all-day event. So it is something else to kind of consider. I haven't done a weekend event for a long time. I'm trying to remember the last time I did that. The other one was an evening event, and the one in London was an evening event as well during the week. But maybe that's where I'm sort of missing a trick, is going back to doing the weekend events. I sort of try to avoid doing that, because I kind of like to guard my weekends somewhat, but perhaps that it was just interesting talking to him about the kind of hearing the successes that he's had with doing events still, and the fact that that was the only real key difference is because my event was only 40 quid or 50, no, I think it was 120 quid for the HPW workshop in London, and it was only like 40 quid for that seminar in Tame. So they're not like high ticket prices. Not that 300 quid's particularly high ticket, but it's a lot more high ticket than 40 quid, for example. So there's definitely some thought to be given to that as well, because the thing is, it just puts me in control. That's the key for me, is to feel like I'm in control. And of course, I want to be doing conferences and keynotes and so on as well, and speaking from other people's stages, but I do want to be out there speaking in whatever capacity. So actually, if I'm doing something from my own stage, and that does give me that little bit more control over the process, and if I can find the way to systemize that, find the right level of content, then yeah, I think in fact that's something to think about. That I just doing a weekend, I just hadn't even thought of doing that because I hadn't done it like that for a while. So there we go. Thank you, Daily Videos. Once again, you've come up trumps. You've helped with my thinking process. So even if that was a little bit rambly today, second part anyway, it's been very helpful to me. So there we go. There's my check-in for the day. I will come back again with more tomorrow. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and check back again tomorrow for tomorrow's daily update. Bye for now.